Hello, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, here's the infrared satellite picture here on Tuesday morning. We have got an active jet stream, one that is screaming in across the Pacific Northwest and then lifting in across the Central Plains, racing then across from the Hello, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we'll start with the infrared satellite picture here on Tuesday morning. A lot of cloudiness from the Pacific Northwest into the Central Plains, the Eastern Corn Belt, Great Lakes off to the northwest, accompanying a very strong jet stream, a trough from Western Canada into the central United States, and little disturbances embedded within that traveling from the Pacific Northwest, following it through the Midwest and then off to the Northeast. Now, as we look at the radar picture, we have some precipitation ongoing across Montana, some snow falling. We've got snow across the northern plains, and that'll be pivoting off across the Great Lakes as we head into the rest of the day. Dry across the across the southwest as we get started on this Tuesday. It'll be continuing to be dry across that region again for much of the next week. Now, as we talk about the hazards map here, pretty quiet across the west, but if you kind of focus in here across parts of the valley here, we got fire weather watches. We've also got freeze watches across northern California into southwestern portions of Oregon. As we look at the next 5 days of total liquid precipitation on the left, and then we've got the snowfall forecast through 7 a.m. on Friday on the right. We're going to be looking for some additional rainfall here as we head through the next few days, especially accompanying a storm system that comes in here towards the end of the week. And this is going to be falling on the eastern side of the Cascades here, where we could pick up several inches of precipitation, some snowfall possible on the eastern slopes here as we get into, again, the end of the week. Also watching for, again, some significant precipitation in the mountainous regions here of northern Idaho, getting into western and southern Montana, with just a trace amount, a few hundredths to maybe a tenth of an inch of some precipitation as we get down into the Snake River region of southern Idaho. Now, again, here's the jet stream at this point coming in over our ridge in the Gulf of Alaska, screaming in across the Pacific Northwest. That's why this has been the active region here over the last few days. Now, we've got a unique instance here where these systems, these next two, and especially the one that comes in on the weekend, are going to be kind of sneaking in from the north and the east. What I'm talking about here is this little trough you're starting to see round the base of our bigger trough across British Columbia, diving into Oregon. You see how it's kind of coming in from the north and the east? It happens a little bit more obvious here as we get into the weekend. So this is the wave that comes in Wednesday into Thursday, moves into the northern plains as we get into Thursday, creating a winter storm across the northern plains into the upper Midwest. But here comes the next one around the base of that trough. See it coming in from the east here as we get into, this is late Friday into Saturday. With it doing that, then we actually get on the dry side of the Rockies, we get some upslope flow, and we end up with precipitation here on the east side of not the Rockies, the Cascades in Washington and Oregon here as we get in toward the end of the week. And you can see that with we'll look at the wind speeds here at 850 millibars. And at this point, and at most points, we have the winds coming off the Pacific. So we've got downslope flow on the east side of the Cascades. That's a drying pattern. We get dry there. That's what gives us that rain shadow effect in that region. We'll watch this system come in here on Wednesday. Let me see if I can find it because it is subtle with the first one. You see our winds. You can see the little arrows still going west to east here. Wednesday midday, but then they flip around right there late Wednesday into Thursday. We get some weak flow coming up the east side of the Cascades. It's much more obvious if I take it a little bit further to our next wave. You see it coming in here Friday night into Saturday. Now you've got strong flow coming out of the east-northeast, and that is going to be upslope flow on the east side of the Cascades. So as we look at the precipitation forecast, what accompanies all of that, this first system that makes its way through, going to be bringing less in the way of organized precipitation to the Pacific Northwest, more in the way of heavy snow across Montana into the Dakotas as it makes its way through today into tomorrow. Will be dry for the day on Thursday across the western U.S., everywhere except for the higher elevations here in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, where we'll see some snow during the day on Thursday. The next system that's going to bring some rainfall and some measurable precipitation, some snowfall as well, to Washington, Oregon, and the Snake River Valley is going to be here as we get into late Friday into Saturday. And this is the one where we get Friday night into Saturday morning, that upslope flow here bringing some heavy snow on the eastern slopes of the Cascades, and some precipitation there, even all the way into southern portions of Washington. So this one takes its time getting out of here. We'll see the precipitation start once again here during the day on Friday across Washington, moving into Oregon and into Idaho as we head into Friday night and Saturday. This is now Saturday sunrise. We've still got some precipitation ongoing across Oregon, beginning to pivot out of Washington as we get into the day on Saturday. And then we'll see that snow making its way into Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming as we get into Saturday night and Sunday. High pressure takes back over as we get into the end of the weekend, and that's going to dry us out here as we get into Saturday, late Saturday into Sunday. We'll watch then for some lighter moisture maybe coming up over the top of the ridge as we get into the early part of next week, but this really looks like about it in what's been, a 7 to 14 day kind of active stretch across the Pacific Northwest, with that storm track just sweeping in across the region like that. It looks like that continues into the weekend, but then we move into a drier pattern as we head into next week. So here's what we've got. Total precipitation from the European operational model here through Saturday at midnight. And again, you see that significant precipitation kind of stacking up here on the eastern slopes here, 1 to 2 inches of precipitation possible in that area. And on some of the slopes here, getting some snowfall accumulating as well. This is the total snow forecast between now and Saturday night. If we look at the next 5 days, we're looking at precipitation anomalies. So this is the next 5 days. We'll do 0 to 5. And then over here, we've got days 6 through 10. You can see the transition here where we get another couple of days, or at least through the weekend, with this active pattern across the Pacific Northwest into the northern plains before we kind of shut things down, looking at days 6 through 10 being much quieter across the Pacific Northwest. Now, there is the chance as this front sweeps through here Friday into Saturday, we could also bring some moisture as far south as Arizona, getting into New Mexico, and badly needed into the central Rockies of Colorado, where we've seen the wildfire threat exploding over the last week or so. We'll finish with a look at temperatures. Quite warm across the southwest right now. Much of the cooler air confined to the Canadian Prairie and the northern plains, but we're going to see a lot more of that colder air making its way into the Pacific Northwest and the rest of the Rockies here as we get into the other side of the weekend. So here's a look at that temperature anomaly forecast as we head through the day today. Getting into Wednesday, we're going to see this first front trying to make its way off to the south as we get through the end of this week, Thursday into Friday. And then it's this next front that comes in on the backside, the one that brings the precipitation, that last gasp of precipitation to the Pacific Northwest as we go through Friday and Saturday. On the backside of that one, another significant cold front. This one may clear the entire western U.S., bringing some cooler temperatures into the region before warmth starts to kind of sneak back up on the backside, potentially as we get into the last few days of the month of October. But a cooler transition likely here as we head through the end of the weekend into early next week, a bit of a pattern change. We'll see some significant wind gusts at times with some of these fronts sweeping through the region that'll be kicking a fire weather risk off or keeping it going. The most long-lived which going to be right here across the northern valley here, northern California. We'll continue to see those winds gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour with low relative humidity values. Ticking upwards on Thursday, this is when we could see a more significant fire weather risk across not only northern California, but also down here across parts of the Panhandle, getting into New Mexico, where we'll have some winds gusting again, 30 to 50 miles per hour with dry air in that region as well. So 2 areas to watch with that fire weather risk as we head into the end of the week with some of the higher winds and lower humidity. Again, here's day 1, day 2, day 3, and then day 4 with our fire weather outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. Elevated in Northern California today and tomorrow. Same thing likely on, this would be Thursday, day 3. And then as we head into Friday, stronger wind gusts, lower humidity. We'll have to watch for a critical fire weather conditions across Northern California. And then again across parts of the Panhandles back into New Mexico. We'll finish with a look at those high temperatures for the day today. Tomorrow, seeing that cooler air try to make its way in on Thursday, but it's really the Saturday into Sunday push that's going to bring some of that cooler air further south into the west, clearing it into the Four Corners region as we get into Sunday and Monday.